Good evening and a warm welcome to this evening's edition of Fine Print. I'm Molly Gambhir. It's a race against time in Indonesia as a desperate search for survivors continues post a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that triggered a tsunami. At least 844 people declared dead so far. Of the 844 deaths, nearly 821 were reported from the city of Palu. In Parigi Motong region, 12 people died, while in Donggala, the death toll now stands at 11. Of these, 744 bodies have been identified so far. Hundreds of people are feared to be trapped under the rubble. Rescuers in Palu are awaiting heavy machinery to search the ruins of a hotel and a shopping center. According to local media reports, mobile phone signals have been detected in the rubble of a Palu shopping mall. Locals have also reported hearing muffled shouts from under the debris of a hotel there. Several roads continue to be blocked, the telecommunication system also standing affected. And to add to that, the airport connecting Palu also has suffered damage. Several hospitals damaged as well, with some of those injured now being treated in the open. Meanwhile, authorities in Palu have started burying the victims in mass graves in order to avoid outbreak of diseases. A 100-meter-long grave has been dug. Remember, rescuers are yet to reach some of the worst-hit areas, such as the city of Donggala and Balarau region, where an entire housing estate caved in. The estate was home to over 900 people. Counting of bodies has not begun in these areas, so the death toll is feared to increase. Overall, at least 48,000 people have been displaced. With the 844 deaths, one cannot help but ask what went really wrong on Friday. Was there no tsunami warning sent out? Well, this is what really happened. The 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck off the island of Sulawesi at 6:03 p.m. local time on Friday. Dozens of aftershocks followed. BMKG, which is Indonesia's meteorological and geophysics agency, followed protocol and sent out a tsunami warning. BMKG said that potential waves of 0.5 to 3 meters may lash Sulawesi. But what happened next proved disastrous. The tsunami warning was lifted in just over 30 minutes, around 6:37 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, hundreds of people had gathered for a beachfront festival in Palu, one of the worst affected areas. They were swept away with waves as high as 6 meters. Now, while authorities at the Met Department claim that the waves struck while the warning was still in force, critics claim that the warning was lifted too early, remember, within a span of 30 minutes. The fact being, though the alert was sent out to the residents of Palu and other areas via text messages, most of the residents did not receive them, as the earthquake had brought down the area's power and communication lines. And to add to that, there were no sirens along the coast, which points to a massive failure in the tsunami warning system of a country that faced a similar situation just over a decade back in 2004. That's when an earthquake of magnitude 9.1 struck beneath the Indian Ocean near Indonesia, generating a tsunami that claimed more than 230,000 lives in 14 countries, one of the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. When that tsunami struck, the only warning most people in the region had was the sight of a giant wave heading towards them. Unlike the Pacific, the Indian Ocean at that point did not have a system to alert residents of coastal areas that a tsunami was on the horizon. Many analysts claimed that the disaster could have been mitigated if there had been an effective warning system in place. An early warning system is one of the most effective ways to mitigate the impact of a tsunami. It gives people time to seek safety if warned of the impending calamity. And post that 2004 disaster, one of the deadliest in the world, work started on setting up an early warning system for the region. Now, coming to the tsunami warning system, specifically in Indonesia, it is currently made up of a network of 170 seismic broadband stations, 238 stations and 137 tidal gauges. Experts claim that for a country as vulnerable to such natural disasters as Indonesia, this warning system is extremely limited. Compare this to the United States, for example, where the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has a sophisticated network of 39 sensors on the ocean floor that can detect even extremely small pressure changes. Any indication of a possible tsunami is relayed via satellite and analyzed. The authorities then issue a warning if required. Remember, though Indonesia's tsunami warning system did pick up the disaster, it failed to gauge its scale. The authorities issued warnings for waves ranging anywhere between 0.5 meters to 3 meters. But what the residents of Palu faced were massive waves of at least twice that strength, of at least 6 meters high. The Met Office revealed that the nearest tidal gauge to Palu was over 200 kilometers away. A tidal gauge measures the change in sea level. The one near Palu recorded an insignificant 6 centimeter or a 2.5-inch rise, given the distance at which it was located, prompting the authorities to underestimate the height of the tsunami waves and hence the overall impact. Part of Indonesia's tsunami warning system is also supposed to include a network of 21 buoys which are connected to seafloor sensors and are meant to transmit advance warnings. These buoys were donated by the United States, Germany and Malaysia following the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. 14 years on, none of these are working. They have either been damaged by vandals or have been stolen. Now, the question that arises then is, why did the Indonesian government not replace or install new tsunami detection system, given that the existing machineries were either faulty, if not missing? Well, a team of institutions from the United States and Indonesia were developing a method of tsunami detection, but due to lack of funding as a result of currency devaluation, the new detection system could not be installed. The program included sensor nodes, sound waves and cables to track the underwater changes and transmit that information to various agencies. If that system was installed, it could have saved several lives. Early detection is a way to avoid large-scale casualties for natural disasters like tsunamis. And for a country like Indonesia, which is sitting on the ring of fire, an advanced tsunami detection and warning system is a must if it wants to avoid repeating history. Meanwhile, Indonesia has said it will accept international help in whatever form for that disaster response and relief. Tom Lembong, the head of Indonesian Investment Board, tweeted on Monday, and I'm quoting, "Last night, President Joko Widodo authorized us to accept international help for urgent disaster response and relief. I am helping coordinate help from private sectors from around the world." Several countries have expressed their condolences and offered assistance to Jakarta in these trying times. India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj took to the floor of the United Nations General Assembly, remember, to promise every possible support from India just hours after that calamity struck.
इंडोनेशिया में भूकंप और सुनामी दोनों त्रासदी एक साथ आई हैं। मैं आज इस मंच से अपने देश भारत की ओर से इंडोनेशिया की सरकार और वहां के लोगों के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करती हूं और इसके साथ ही इस त्रासदी का मुकाबला करने के लिए भारत की ओर से पूर्ण सहयोग का आश्वासन भी देती हूं।
Australia has also expressed its support for Indonesia. The government on Monday said, and I'm quoting, "As a close neighbor, Australia stands ready to support the Indonesian government's response efforts if required." The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan also conveyed his condolences to the victims of the disaster. He tweeted, and I'm quoting, "I pray for our brothers and sisters who were killed in the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia, wounded, and offering my deepest condolences to the people of Indonesia." He added that Turkey is prepared to do everything in its power to help Indonesia heal its wounds. Singapore's defense minister said through a Facebook post on Monday that he had written to his Indonesian counterpart, expressing his condolences and assuring all support. He wrote, and I'm quoting, "I assured him that the Singapore Air Force stands ready to provide humanitarian assistance. Our C-130s stand ready to deliver help." Indonesia, meanwhile, is scrambling to expand resources in order to help the victims and expand its rescue operation. President Joko Widodo's administration has set aside $51.5 million for relief efforts. We'll keep tracking the latest coming in from across Indonesia. But moving on for now, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's double speak when it comes to peace talks with India stands exposed yet again. Pakistan Minister for Religious Affairs Noor al-Haq Qadri, while sharing the stage with global terrorist Hafiz Saeed, has spewed venom against India. The minister has accused India of choosing the path of war over dialogue with Pakistan. Hafiz Saeed was the chief guest of that event, which was held in Pakistan's capital. Hafiz Saeed, remember, is the mastermind of the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks.
पाकिस्तान का अव्वलीन एजेंडा अमन है, सलामती है और तमाम हसास और मुतनाज़ा मामलात पर मुज़ाकरात है और हमेशा मुज़ाकरात से फरार का रास्ता हिंदुस्तान ने अपनाया है.
Indian Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman issued a strong statement. She reiterated that terrorism and talks cannot go together, and Pakistan has failed to act against any terrorist group.
पाकिस्तान पहले जितनी भी हमारी तरफ से उनको लगातार फैक्स डॉसियर्स के रूप में हम दे रहे हैं, उसका सही कन्विंसिंग जवाब देना चाहिए. जिन जिन लोगों को यूएन भी और भारत देश में भी टेररिस्ट माना जाता है, टेररिस्ट, उनके ऊपर क्या कार्रवाई पाकिस्तान ने किया? आज तक हफीज सैयद, जिनको यूएन भी टेररिस्ट का लिस्ट में डाल रखे हैं, उनको आराम से घूमने के लिए और उनके अपने एक्टिविटीज, एनजीओ हो, कुछ हो, वो करने के लिए पूरे फ्रीडम पाकिस्तान ने दे रखे हैं.
Since Imran Khan took over as the Pakistan Prime Minister, Islamabad has made a strong pitch for dialogue with New Delhi, but Pakistan's continued support for terror has ensured that India has said a clear no to those talks. In fact, during her speech at the United Nations General Assembly, India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj called out Pakistan over its sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. The minister also justified India's decision to call off that meeting with her Pakistani counterpart.
आज आतंकवाद का राक्षस कहीं धीमी गति से तो कहीं तेज गति से विश्व के हर देश तक जा पहुंचा है. भारत तो कई दशकों से इसका दंश भोग रहा है और हमारा दुर्भाग्य है कि हमारे यहाँ आतंकवाद की चुनौती कहीं दूर देश से नहीं बल्कि सीमा पार अपने पड़ोसी देश से ही आई है. और वो देश केवल आतंकवाद फैलाने में ही माहिर नहीं है बल्कि अपने किए हुए को नकारने में भी उसने महारत हासिल कर ली है.
Moving on for now, the 2018 Nobel Prize in Medicine has been jointly awarded to James P. Allison and Tasuku Honjo. The two immunologists from the US and Japan respectively have been awarded for their discovery of cancer therapy by inhibition of negative immune regulation. The discovery made by the two medicine scientists takes advantage of the immune system's ability to attack cancer cells by releasing brakes on immune cells. It's a groundbreaking discovery when it comes to cancer treatment. Their research says a specific protein functions as a brake on the immune system. James P. Allison realized the potential of releasing that element and unleashing the immune cells to attack tumors. Lebanon has been home to the biggest contingent of the Indian peacekeeping forces for the last 20 years. The troops are a part of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, also known as UNIFIL. Owing to the volatile nature of its border with Israel, the role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces has been crucial in the region. WION's Nagin Singh traveled to the border region of Israel and Lebanon, bringing us this detailed report on the humanitarian efforts carried out by the Indian Army contingent.
This is Chiba village, situated deep inside South Lebanon. WION joined the Indian battalion deployed in United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, just meters away from Israeli-occupied positions. These soldiers patrol the lengths and breadths of the Blue Line, which accesses the demarcation line between the two countries.
The Blue Line is at a distance of approx 350 meters from us, and to the east is at a distance of approx 700 meters from us. So this area, as you can see, is completely mountainous, and the height varies from 1000 meters to 2000 meters. To our south lies the area of Sheba Farms, that is the disputed area. Towards our east lies the Golan Heights. And as far as our post is concerned, so this post is monitoring all the major activities which are happening, even the minor activities which are happening close to the blue line.
These barrels demarcate the blue line. The surveillance of this 120-kilometer stretch is the Blue Helmet's primary responsibility. The UN drew the blue line in 2000 with Israel and Lebanon in agreement. The blue line guarantees complete removal of Israeli forces following its 1992 invasion. During the patrol, the Indian battalion makes regular stops. It gives them the opportunity to take stock of the security situation.
2/3 of the 14th olive farm is in Israel and 1/3 is in Lebanon. So this area is basically used to demonstrate, where people come here and they carry out demonstrations against any policies of Israel and also any activities of Israel. So this is always a challenge for us, the Indian battalion, to prevent violations of such nature, and especially with civilians going across.
For 4 decades now, UNIFIL has traversed the hills of South Lebanon with one key goal: maintaining peace and security in the region. UNIFIL came into being in 1978 in an area rife with regular conflicts with Israel.
This particular place used to be one of the posts of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and now what all we can see is just the remains of these posts. Here, from the same post, Hezbollah went to the Israeli area in 2006 and they captured 3 of their soldiers and they killed them over there. And after that, the situation has been very, very dangerous over here, and that is the reason that United Nations has made sure that their forces have increased in numbers in this area so that Lebanese and Israeli forces don't intervene near the blue line.
The Indian contingent has been in Lebanon since 1998, offering peacekeeping initiatives. Known for their excellence in this field, the Indian Peacekeeping Unit has brought about several positive changes working in tandem with the locals.
The major thing which keeps us going is the ijjat of our battalion, the pride of our country. Right. That is, we are representing, we are the only Indian battalion in UNIFIL, and for upholding the image of Indian Army, because we are working in a very multinational environment with all foreign armies around. Right. So by our conduct and by our professionalism, we are representing the Indian Army. Right. So that is the biggest motivation for us, that we as a sole representatives of India here, and I believe we are doing a fantastic job.
UNIFIL doesn't work alone. Following Lebanon's war of 2006 with Israel, United Nations Security Council came up with the Resolution 1701. And since then, the Lebanese army has worked closely with the United Nations peacekeepers. Apart from 850 Indian soldiers, UNIFIL comprises of soldiers from Spain, Indonesia, and Nepal as well. UNIFIL also intervenes in the area outside the military jurisdiction. In Chiba, a town of 30,000 inhabitants, UNIFIL shares friendly relationships with the locals. The Indian contingent particularly has helped Chiba in constructing schools, hospitals, and parks. These blue helmets will be returning to their homes in the next few months after completing their deployment tenure, making Lebanon a better place with each passing day. Bureau Report, WION.